An American tourist insisted we cancel the London Eye because it was drizzling. She said the moisture in the air was triggering her atmospheric pressure. Sensitivity syndrome, if you're already realizing this channel isn't about surface-level travel stories, but about what they reveal, you might want to subscribe. I track this cultural madness full-time, so you don't have to. When I explained London gets 156 days of rain per year, and we don't shut down for drizzle, she demanded to speak to the mayor about implementing a rain-free tourism guarantee. She had printed out a Change.org petition with 17 signatures. A man from Arizona called our bed and breakfast to complain that British rain was wetter than American rain. He claimed the molecular density was different, and his clothes weren't drying properly because of socialist water particles. He wanted a refund for the 3 days it drizzled during his week-long stay. He'd measured the rain with a cup and had photographic evidence of dampness. This level of cultural weather analysis doesn't show up on your feed by accident. Most channels just mock tourists. I decode the psychology underneath. If that's your speed, you belong here. A woman refused to leave Heathrow because the weather app showed clouds for her entire 5-day trip to Scotland. She said she'd specifically booked Britain for summer sunshine after watching Bridgerton. When security explained Scotland is naturally cloudy, she accused us of false advertising and demanded we fly her to Spain instead at our expense. She was holding a printed screenshot of one sunny scene from the show as legal evidence. A tourist tried to sue the UK Meteorological Office for emotional distress because they accurately predicted rain. He said weather forecasters in California just say sunny every day, and everyone's happier for it. He claimed seeing rain in the forecast ruined his vacation before it even started, and wanted $5,000 compensation for anticipatory disappointment. He documented his anxiety with selfies of him frowning at his phone. A couple demanded we turn off the wind in Cornwall because it was messing up the wife's hair for photos. They thought the coastal wind was generated by fans the tourism board installed to make beaches more dramatic. When I explained it's just natural Atlantic wind, they asked where the controls were and if we could at least point the fans in a different direction. They offered to pay $200 for an hour of wind-free photography time. A woman called the police because British summer felt like American autumn. She was wearing shorts and a tank top in 18°C weather and claimed we'd falsely advertised summer temperatures. She insisted she was a temperature expert because she lived in Florida and knew what proper summer felt like. The officer who responded had to explain that Britain is further north than Maine. A man tried to return his hotel room because the windows showed gray skies. He said he paid for a room with a view, and gray didn't count as a legitimate sky color. When the manager explained British weather is frequently overcast, he accused us of photoshopping the booking website photos. He wanted to be relocated to a room facing a TV playing videos of blue skies instead. A tourist demanded a refund from the Tower of London because the overcast weather made the historical torture devices too depressing. She said learning about medieval executions requires sunshine to balance out the darkness. She'd called ahead to complain and suggested we install a retractable dome over the entire complex. She claimed Disney World manages their weather just fine, so we should too. An American yoga instructor canceled her retreat in the Lake District after 1 day because the mist was interfering with her chakra alignment. She said British moisture holds negative frequency vibrations that American bodies aren't calibrated for. She wanted compensation for having to recalibrate her entire spiritual system when she got home. She'd brought a special energy meter that proved British air was 40% sadder than Colorado air. A man complained that our January sales were misleading because we didn't warn him January in England would be cold. He was from Texas and assumed everywhere had mild winters. He tried to return 3 coats he'd bought because he shouldn't have needed them if we'd properly heated the entire country. He wanted a refund plus shipping costs to mail them back to his hotel from the shop next door. A woman demanded we postpone the changing of the guard because light rain would ruin her photos. She'd specifically scheduled her entire vacation around this ceremony and refused to accept that British soldiers performed in all weather conditions. She tried to tip the guards $50 each to wait until the sun came out. When they didn't respond, she filed a complaint about them ignoring paying customers. A tourist called our pub to ask what time we turned the rain off in the evening. He wanted to plan his walk back to the hotel during the dry period. When I explained we don't control precipitation, he got frustrated and said every restaurant in Vegas has outdoor heaters, so why couldn't we just heat the whole street? He seemed genuinely confused that weather wasn't a controlled amenity. A couple tried to get a discount at Stonehenge because clouds blocked their view of the sun, aligning with the stones during summer solstice. They said the whole point of ancient monuments is solar positioning, and cloudy skies violated their consumer rights. They'd driven from Bath specifically for this and wanted a partial refund for experiencing only 60% of the available sun. They'd calculated the percentage using a light meter app. A woman insisted her vitamin D deficiency was Britain's fault and wanted the NHS to pay for her supplements. She'd been in London for 4 days and claimed the lack of sunshine had given her a medical condition. She brought a doctor's note from America that said she requires daily sun exposure, though it was actually just advice for general wellness. She was treating it like a legal prescription the UK was obligated to fill. A man tried to hire our tour company to guarantee sunshine for his wedding photos at the Cotswolds. He offered an extra $1,000 if we could ensure blue skies and said event planners in LA did this all the time. When we explained weather control isn't a service we offer, he asked for a recommendation for someone who does. He seemed convinced there was a premium tier of weather coordination we were just refusing to sell him. A tourist filed a complaint with Visit Britain because the Lake District had too much water. She'd expected picturesque lakes, but didn't realize they required rainfall to exist. She said the tourism board should install drainage systems, so the region could keep its name but lose the actual lakes because they made everything damp. Her ideal version was basically painted concrete to photograph without moisture. A woman demanded a refund from our coastal hotel because she could hear the ocean. She'd specifically booked a seaside room, but didn't realize the sea made noise. She claimed American beaches were quieter, and this was clearly a plumbing issue. She wanted us to soundproof the entire Atlantic or move her to a room where she couldn't hear water moving. The hotel was literally on the beach. A man called to complain that British weather had given his phone depression. He said his iPhone's facial recognition wasn't working properly because the gray skies made lighting too flat for the camera. He wanted us to reimburse him for a new phone, calibrated for low-light conditions. He'd been in England for 2 days and was convinced the weather had permanently damaged his electronics through ambient sadness. A tourist tried to sue a National Trust property because getting rained on during her garden tour constituted assault by weather. She'd paid $12 for admission and expected the historical manor to provide climate-controlled outdoor experiences. Her lawyer had actually drafted a letter about negligent weather management. She was seeking $500 in damages for her ruined suede jacket and emotional distress from unwanted moisture. A couple demanded we drain the fog from the Scottish Highlands because it was blocking their view of Loch Ness. They thought morning mist was a special effect the tourism board added for atmosphere and wanted it removed for clearer monster spotting conditions. They'd brought professional photography equipment and considered fog a form of false advertising. They wanted the entire loch area defogged for their remaining 3 days. A woman insisted British rain had ruined her American hair products and wanted reimbursement for the full-size bottles in her luggage. She claimed our humidity had a different chemical composition that made her shampoo stop working. She'd brought receipts for $230 worth of products and expected compensation because We should have warned her that British moisture wasn't compatible with American hair care formulas. She wanted us to pay for British replacements, plus the cost of shipping her products home unused. A man tried to return his umbrella to a London shop because he'd actually had to use it. He thought umbrellas in England were decorative accessories like they were in Southern California. When it actually rained, he felt betrayed by having to deploy it functionally. He wanted a refund because the umbrella had gotten wet during use and was no longer in sellable condition. The shop owner had to explain that umbrellas getting wet was literally their entire purpose. A tourist called the Thames River Authority to complain that British rivers looked sad compared to American ones. She said the gray water matched the gray sky, and the whole country needed a color correction filter. She suggested adding blue dye to all water sources to make them more photogenic. She was genuinely concerned about Britain's tourism industry suffering from insufficient color saturation. She'd created a whole presentation comparing Thames photos to Colorado River photos as evidence. A woman demanded compensation from British Airways because London weather wasn't what she'd imagined from reading Harry Potter. She expected year-round autumn vibes with perfect leaf-crunching conditions, not actual rain and gray skies. She claimed the books had led her to believe British weather was cozy, not legitimately wet. She wanted a refund on her plane ticket for experiencing reality instead of fictional atmospheric conditions. She'd brought the books as evidence of what she'd been promised. If you made it this far, you clearly appreciate stories that cut through absurdity with precision. I publish these cultural breakdowns every week. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one that makes you question reality all over again.